Hello guys, so now me, Tava and Alex are going to present you on how to do charting methods while taking notes. So basically all students take notes because it is important in maybe in lectures, in discussion, and maybe when you're doing some readings or research on internet. This is important when you're taking notes. And people are wondering on what method we are going to use effectively, systematically. So charting method is one of the effective way. Well, charting is effectively a table of rows and also columns, which the columns are labeled with the main point and also keywords that you think important in those lectures. And actually, charting method is easier for the students, especially for the subjects like history, maths and science, because you can relate it, the relationship between the facts itself. And for the example that we have here, the first column is the theory, and the theory that we have here is the special theory of relativity. And the next column is stated the person who stated this theory. It's Albert Einstein. And the next column is the year this one is proposed, and also the paper that he prepared. So we can quickly or easily recognize the relationship between it. So the outlining for charting method is very simple. You just need a paper and divide it into two columns. But let me explain you step by step to make this charting method. Well, first set up your paper and then divide your paper into several columns. And the columns is up to you because it depends on how many keywords and the important part you want to put in the first row of each columns. And second, you need to label. Last part is you just need to record all the information in each of the column under each of the main points.
Firstly, I'm going to talk about when to use the charting method. Firstly, we use the charting method when we are tested with facts and relationships. Secondly, if the content is heavy and presented quickly, for example in a history course full of dates, peoples and events, we use the charting method as it's simple and efficient to use. Thirdly, if you want to make an overview of the whole course in a lesson, we use the charting method. And fourthly, when we're writing by hand or typing notes in a paper with a column, charting method is the easiest way to record your notes. Now there are a few preferred subjects for the charting method. Firstly is maths, and the basic categories for mathematics is equations, purposes and examples. Secondly is history, where the categories are dates, events, places and people. Thirdly, science is a preferred subject, and the categories of that is peoples, theories, dates and proposals. Now I'm going to talk about how to study your charted notes the quick and easy way. So now, since the information in a charted note is defined clearly and efficiently, all we now have to do is just reinforce the notes by constant reading to aid in memorization. Secondly, we start by reading it through chronological or hierarchical order, and we can use other methods such as flashcards to help in remembrance. Now, who uses the charting method and why? Firstly, college students use the charting method. When the lecture outline is revealed by the lecturers for them for the day, charting method is the easiest and simplest way to use, as the note-taking time is actually reduced drastically. Secondly, lecturers use the charting method whenever they want to prepare handouts for students as notes, or when they want to prepare notes for themselves for their lectures to ensure fluidity in their lectures.
Now I'm going to talk about the pros and cons. The advantages. Charting methods helps you track conversation and dialogues easily when you would confused and lost of content. And secondly, reduces amount of writing. And lastly, it provides easy way to review and memorize on facts, especially study of comparison and relationship. Disadvantages. Charting method must be able to understand what's going on lecture, and secondly, it can be hard system to learn and use. And lastly, we need to prepare before the lecture start. For example, draw the columns on the paper. In conclusion, this method might good for you if you like to be fast, efficiency, and like to be prepared. Thank you.